What's up, everybody? I appreciate y'all watching my channel, keeping up with my videos, and if you find this content useful, like, share, and subscribe. So I know y'all probably like, man, what's the hold up? You got everything cut in. It's time to hook up right now, right? Wrong. The next thing you need to do is go over your wiring diagram, so you'll know where you can hook up all your cables. But what we got here is we got 5 circuits. P143L, 143LA, B, C, D. P143L is going to be your feeder, and the other circuit is going to be your sub feeders. So P143L is going to be the power. And we got 16 spaces, which is 8 block terminal blocks, but I'm going to use them like all as one. I kind of drew it just like I did on the inside of the box, 1 through 8 and 9 through 16. But of course it's gonna be 2 sides, but this is just a rough drawing just to give you an idea. But it's gonna be 16 spaces on the terminal blocks. And I'm gonna bring my power in right here on 1 and 2. So that's my power, and these are gonna be my sub feeders. So I'm feeding these cables, 143LA, B, A through D. So when I come in, the black is gonna be my line or my hot, and the white is gonna be my neutral. And when I'm come in, the first thing I'm gonna focus on is my jumpers. And I'm gonna put all my jumpers on this side. And I'm gonna take a jumper. Basically what you're doing is you're taking whatever's coming from these 2 wires and you're transferring it over to these wires down here. So I'm gonna take my black, which would be my line, I'm gonna tie it to 1. And I'm gonna take a jumper and I'm gonna go from 1 to 4. And I don't want to confuse you, but I could have went from 1 to 3 and kept everything even, kept everything odd. But this is just the way I did it. So I'm gonna take this jumper from 1 and I'm gonna go to 4. And this, when I draw this little dot right here, that means it's tied in. And when I take this line right here and I jump over it, that's not tied in. So I'm gonna take 1 jumper and I'm gonna go from 1, tie in here, and I'm gonna go to 4. And I'm gonna take another jumper and I'm gonna go from 4, tie it in here, and I'm gonna go to 6. And I'm gonna take another jumper from 6, tie in here, and I'm gonna go to 8. And I'm gonna take another jumper from 8 and I'm gonna go to 10. That way, on my line is on terminal number 1, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So I know all my black cables from these are either gonna go on 1, 4, well, the power is gonna come from 1, of course, but all of my sub feeders on the black cable is gonna go to 4, 6, 8, and 10. And it's the same way with my neutral, with my white cable. I'm gonna tie it to 2, and I'm gonna put a jumper from 2 to 3. And I tie it right here, tie it in. From 3, jump over this. Now tie it in. And I'm gonna go to 5. And I'm gonna take another jumper and I'm gonna go from 5, tie in here, jump over that, and I'm gonna go to 7. I'm gonna take another jump and I'm gonna go from 7 to 9. So that way, whichever one of these, I can use either one of these to go to either one. And there's gonna be 3 conductors. Let's say I'm gonna use A, for example. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and that'll be black, white, green. I'm gonna take my white, I'm gonna take my black, and I'm gonna tie it in to which one of these is black. 1, 2, 3, 1 to 4. So I'm gonna tie in my black cable from A to number 4, and I'm gonna tie in my white cable from A to number 3. So it's gonna be like white from each one of these. It's gonna be white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black. I know it could probably confuse you with me leading with the white, but it's pretty much the same, because you're getting the same thing here as you get in here, and you're getting the same thing with the white one as you get here. From 2 to 3, and I wrote it down here just to, hopefully I don't confuse you. And I wrote it down over here so it'll make it a lot easier. So I know that all of my black cables are gonna go on 4, 6, 8, and 10. And all of my white cables are gonna go on 3, 5, 7, and 9. And on my grounds, what I did down here, I went from 11 tied in, 12 jumper, from 12 to 13, 13 to 14, from 14 to 15, 15 to 16, and I put an external ground. That way I'm gonna come out of the box with the ground. So, you know, your ground's gonna be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Disregard this spare right here, because I use the external ground. So this way it's gonna be from each one of these, A, B, C, D, black, white, red, black, white, green, excuse me, black, white, green. This is gonna go white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, and all of these are gonna be my grounds. Green, 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 external ground coming out. So I could have did this. I could have just went from black from 1 to 3, and I could have kept them all even. From 3 to 5 to 7 to 9. But I just did that because it really don't matter, because the same thing that you getting here is going from 1 to 4, from 4 to 6, from 6 to 8, and from 8 to 10. That's basically the basic premise. But it's pretty simple. If you need any help or anything like that, contact me and I can kind of break it down and explain it a little bit better. But that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all for taking time to watch this video. And if you find this content useful, like, share, or subscribe. Shoot, hit me up on Facebook, on Messenger or something like that. I can explain it a little bit better, or draw one a little bit simpler than this, or however. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.